All right, hello Algebra 1, let's do this. Game plan for today is we're going to continue the idea and practice of solving these linear equations, and the best way we're really going to get good at it is by writing the steps to make sure we understand the English part of the mathematics that we're doing, right? Writing the steps down will help us with our memory. Great. What I'd like you to do is take a moment, pause the video, have this in your notes, right? Today will be lesson number 2, right? And the first question we're going to have is 4 times x minus 2 is equal to 8 times x minus 3 minus 12. And what I want you to do is solve for x, right? How do you get the x by itself? Okay. So what I want you to do is try this on your own first, right? Like, what do you think would be the first move, second move, third move, fourth move, la la la? And try this question on your own. And the second you feel like you get stuck, then come and watch the video and see how it's done, right? So just by looking at this, what do you believe should be the first move, right? It should be to distribute the 4 into the x and to the negative 2, and the 8 to the x and the 8 to the negative 3. So what I could do is I could say distribute the 4 times the x minus 2, and you could also say distribute the 8 to the x minus 3, right? So then what does that look like? I go like this, I go like this, I go like this, I go like this, right? So then how do I continue? Let's zoom in a little bit. And let me do this over here. So then what will this be? This will be 4x minus 8 equals 8x minus 24 minus 12. Right. Cool. Great. So now we get to this position, right? Because here 8 times x is 8x, 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. What would be the second move you could do, right? What I want you to do is pause the video and think, right? If you get up to this position, what would you do next, right? Okay, now here, what do we go for the third step, right? Once we get to this position, we're going to try and do our inverse operations, right? Because here, a lot of students will say, oh, mister, let me combine the 4x with the 8x, right? But you have to be careful that you have the equal sign over here, right? Whatever's on this side, you can't combine to this side. Like they're in separate areas, right? What you could do is you could move things around. And notice that because x is on both sides of the equation, you just want one x on one side of the equation. So let me write this down, because I think it will really help. We have x on both sides of the equation. We want just one x on one side of the equation. We just want one x on one side of the equation. Okay? So now here, notice that if I have a 4x here and an 8x here, what you could do is you could subtract 4x on both sides, or I could subtract 8x on both sides, right? What you would rather do is, because if I subtract 8x on both sides, then this becomes a negative 4x. And that's not wrong, but you would rather deal with positive things if you had the opportunity, So what you could do here is subtract 4x and subtract 4x. And now notice, will this accomplish the goal that we have over here, right? Will this accomplish the goal? This 4x minus 4x cancels, right? So I'm bringing down the negative 8 equals, what's 8x minus 4x is 4x. And then I bring down the negative 36. Now notice what happened. We just have one x. You see, you just want one x on one side of the equation. So that's the reason why you want to subtract 4x on both sides. There are other ways you could continue, but usually you just want the x by itself, right? Now that you have the 4x, you just have this x on just one side. Now, what would you do to get this x by itself, right? Pause the video and think about it, right? Don't pause the video and think about it. Like, how would I continue, right? And I should have wrote this. Step 4 would be subtract 4x on both sides. What would be the winning move, right? And if you want, I'll be extra and I'll write it again. Negative 8 equals 4x minus 36. You don't have to rewrite it, but it does help. Notice you want this x by itself, so what's in the way? It's this negative 36. So what are you going to do? You do plus 36, plus 36. So we could write that for step 5, right? Add 36 to both sides. And now what do we get? Negative 8 plus 36. If you have 28 equals 4x. What is the winning move? What is the final move you can do? Because you almost have the x by itself. What is the 4 doing to the x? It's multiplying, right? So how would I get rid of this 4? I would divide 4 on both sides. Divide 4. Now here I have 28 over 4, so that's 7 equals x, or x equals 7. And that's it. We're done. Let's review from the beginning, right? Take a moment, pause the video, see what we did from start to finish, right? What was the first thing we did? We distributed the 4. And we distributed the 8, right? And then how do we know when to distribute? When we have these parentheses, right? Then we combine the like terms with the negative 24 and the negative 12 to get negative 36. And then once you have an equation like this, you want to start doing these inverse operations to get an x by itself on just one side. It could be on the left side or the right side. It doesn't matter. And then here, okay, so what we did was we subtracted 4x on both sides, you brought this down, you added 36 on both sides, and then once you get to this position over here, we divided 4 on both sides. And then here were the steps, okay? Very, very, very good. What I'd like you to do is pause the video and try this question on your own. Let me find a good one for you. What would be a good question to do? Try this one. If I have negative 11 minus 2p equals 6p plus 5 times p plus 3. Okay? I'm going to tell you that the answer is p is equal to negative 2. But what I want you to do is, I want you to pause the video and write the steps for it. Okay? Try your best. Good luck.